Oh, we're live. It's fun. It's
Oh
Wednesday,
dear.
but this is the part, friends, where we have to stall and wait for people to come and join us. So this is the stalling bit. And I wore green today.
Humboldt Green. I'm proud of
Green
you.
today is because it's Green Shirt Day to remember the Humboldt Broncos incident. And also because today was the day that the one player donated his organs. So this is the reason behind that, which I'm a huge advocate of organ donation. So proudly sporting some green while we wait for people to join us.
Well, way to
share.
Way to share. Like, because I wore
You should
red.
donate the organ that's behind you, Jody. It doesn't look like it gets played much.
Oh, it does. It's COVID. We jam hard on the piano back here. Ask me how the ukulele lessons are going. Good morning, Sue. Welcome to the show. We're just going to give people another minute. Say hi in the comments if you're here. Then I'll give a disclaimer and then we'll get going. That's what Wednesdays are all about.
I feel bad because you're way more mature than me, Jody, because you have a purpose in your outfit, and I wore red because power red gives me energy. And
you needed to wear red.
Yeah, because
I wore red lipstick just for you today. Good. By the way,
because
when I was getting ready, I'm like, oh, I better show up with bright lipstick, or I'm not going to hear the end of it from her. I am not going to hear the end of it.
Diva, that's
Kathy,
right.
Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning. Good morning, what the fuck, people. Trellis, hello. Kenna, good morning.
Oh, Trellis, God love her. Of course she joined us. Hi.
Yeah, no, he's been here quite a bit. Trellis is a regular in the old coffee club.
She'd love WTF Wednesdays.
Oh, my love, Rhett is here. Happy fucking lockdown Wednesday. Yeah.
You're going to like this, Rhett.
Yeah. Okay, so welcome to Virtual Coffee Club, my friends. We do this every single day, Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and have been doing so for over a fucking year now. And disclaimer, it's WTF Wednesday. So we know that means it's what the fuck Wednesday. So if you are sensitive to swear words, today is not the day to hang out in Coffee Club because it's going to get a little crazy.
Mom,
and just know, my mom never watches on Wednesdays. But this is the place where we're going to swear a little bit. We're going to get some things off our chest. And just with, I think, the amount of COVID fatigue we're having, the amount of additional lockdowns that have been happening across the country this week, I thought, you know what? Let's see what some other people have to say about this. So for the first time ever, we have two guests on a What the Fuck Wednesday. So this is really fun. Please welcome my business partner and friend, Mr. Mike LaBelle. And
good morning.
One of my true loves of life, Angela Groeneveld, is with us. She is the CEO of Emerge Agency. And we're excited to have the two of you here and to help us get a little bit off our chest. I want to let people know this is a safe space in Coffee Club. So if you need to scream your feelings, your comments, your concerns in the comments, this is a safe place to do so. If you don't like what you're hearing, you're welcome to disagree, but we do it with kindness, even when we're swearing.
I'm out.
Okay. You're not going to be fucking kind at all. Who wants to start? Who wants to get something off their chest first?
Well, in true chivalry, I'll let Angela go first.
All right. There's a gentleman. Men who are watching, ladies first all the time. There we go. So I'm excited to hear Mike because pre-show here, he got me pretty excited of how he's going to approach this.
They started fighting before we went on, so good job.
So I'm going to make a disclaimer out front here that what I do for a living is to serve you business owners and to serve you economies in disaster recovery. This is fucking brutal what is going on right now. I've been doing disaster recovery for over 10 years. there's no training to get ready for this. So I'm trying the best I can to learn as much as I can, get ahead of it. What I am proud to say is the disaster recovery plan I made a year ago still fits today. 4 suppression levels, and government will move us back and forth. We are now back at number 1. Apparently COVID doesn't happen on patios, so we can have these discussions in business coaching on patios.
What the
fuck? So I want to show respect to the politicians out there. They're doing the best they can, but they need to just stay away and let business owners have their voice and their time, because we are here together, and human beings, like not just business owners, because we got to get through this. The policies and regulations are there. They don't make any fucking sense. There's no math to it. Mike is going to educate us here. And then I am going to you call me after and I will help you get through this.
I don't know that I'm going to educate as much as I live by 2 mantras in life. And Jody's eyebrows are going to raise when I say this.
Oh,
everyone's an opportunity. Okay. And everyone's entitled to their own opinion. They're not entitled to their own fact.
That's a good point.
All right. So go ahead, write those down. You can use those anytime you want. Feel free.
Oh, who knew we were taking fucking notes today? All right.
I told you he was going to teach us.
Here we go. I'm about to start off by saying I didn't know that COVID was denominational. And when I say that, most people think of the church. No, we're not talking about church. I didn't know that COVID only went into restaurants, libraries, gyms, and small businesses. I don't know how the fuck they keep it out of Walmart, Home Depot, and all the big box stores. But I'm sure they've done it somehow.
Yeah.
Why the fuck did our federal politicians, our provincial politicians, not give any restrictions and guidelines leading up to this? Let's leave it to the civic guys. Let's leave it to the small towns. Let's leave it to the counties, because, oh yeah, they have paid medical people on staff. No, they don't. But the rest of you can't be bothered to get off your balls and do it because, well, it's easier to let someone else make the decision. If we're letting the rest of them make the decision, why the fuck are we paying you still? Because you're not doing anything. You can't meet in Parliament. You can't meet at the Hill. You can't meet anywhere. So you're collecting a paycheck to be a useless fuck.
They don't know. They've never done this before, Mike. And you got to have essential services open.
I agree with you 100%. But then they come up with the statement, statistics show. Statistics come from history and from years of documentation. They started this 60 days in. I don't know where they got their statistics from, but it's pretty special when you can pull that statement out and really have no bearing on it.
Spanish flu. The document,
really?
So the training that we're used in disaster recovery is we're going back. Like before
Spanish flu.
It. we go back. What is the most similar disaster in history that we can learn from? So we go back to kind of pandemic things that maybe happened in the 1800s.
Yes, pandemic things from 1912. So fucking relevant.
At what grade level do they teach the Spanish flu in school, Angela?
Well, pretty soon, not
grade 3.
Yeah.
Grade 3 is where they teach the Spanish flu. So we're taking our documentation on how we're going to run our country on a grade 3 level.
No,
that seems fucking wise, doesn't it?
We're looking.
Well, that's what you're telling me.
No, you have to look at the economy, the Industrial Revolution, recessions, all that kind of stuff. That's what we're trying to get ready for. But anyways, if everybody's going to die from the pandemic, they're trying to prevent that. And so they're trying to put the restrictions in. The restrictions are like when you have a natural disaster happen in a community, you immediately keep the essential services open to keep humans alive, and you make those places safe. Gas stations, Walmarts, liquor stores, cannabis stores.
Okay, stop. Essential services. Is a dentist an essential service? Is a chiropractor an essential service? I would think so.
Not in
Is the pot store and the liquor store an essential service? Probably not.
This is where I'm going to agree with you, is that essential services are to keep in the state of emergency. There's a certain qualification they have to fit under. Yes, I don't understand why liquor stores were open and dentists or chiropractors weren't. I kind of agree with you there. But
no, wait, stop. Just for a second, because this is what I do. Liquor stores and cannabis stores were an interesting addition to that because of addiction. And people who suffer from addiction are going to put a strain on the healthcare system. This is the reasoning behind it. I am not an expert, but I'm just letting you know. I guess
we got bigger fucking problems, don't we?
Well, we do.
Well, yeah, the mental health.
We have an outrageous fentanyl problem right now. We have an outrageous mental health problem right now. And I don't think yesterday's announcement in Alberta, and I know they're experiencing that in Ontario, because let's keep in mind, we've got people in the club from across the country. They put in some of these restrictions in BC. People are going fucking crazy. I don't know how to ride this roller coaster. And I am afraid this morning, I am legitimately afraid this morning for the mental health of these business owners that are going to go into this next piece. Like, I saw being out yesterday after that announcement, the faces on some of our business owners in our community. And it's not good.
No, and it's, I know of 4 entrepreneurs that have committed suicide in 1 year here. Go ahead, Mike.
No, that goes without saying. I've talked to a number of firefighters, and they said, and this is a number of weeks ago, and they said, you know what? We've had 11 deaths of COVID this past week. That's what the government has said, and I'm gonna circle back to that in a minute. The fire departments said that on an average 24-hour shift, some of these guys are seeing 3 and 4 a day suicides. We haven't reported that. And I think that is a bigger death toll in our country right now than COVID ever will be.
I agree that in disaster, like when it's a natural disaster, the mental health, you see, we saw it just in our own backyard here, the Southern Alberta floods, how many years that took a toll on all of us. And when the state of emergencies in a man-made disaster are when the government comes in and changes the flow of the economy. They did it again last night. So that's another state of emergency, and that triggers trauma in people, because what these I know one gym guy right now that has just stayed and focused and doing everything he can. He's probably remortgaging, doing everything he can, growing. And I can't believe he got the news to shut down yesterday. I don't know how he slept last night. I don't know how and the staff that you employ and the hospices that we support, and it's such a trickle effect. So I don't think we can do it. I say, fuck it. We don't follow the rules. I say we stay open. We say, see you in court. We got to keep going. We got to keep food on the table. And back to the mental health part, everybody needs a purpose when they get up in the morning to do something. We can't be sitting around collecting CERB checks when I don't know when that pot's going to run out either. I don't know. We're going to be paying taxes.
Where's that coming from?
Let me get economy-wise on you with this, Angela. Most small businesses take in income, they have expenses, they file their taxes, and a lot of businesses will make money back on their taxes because they run their business properly. They pay GST, they pay everything they need to, and they will make money back on their taxes. As a government economist, I can shut you down. You no longer have the ability to make money. I'm going to offer you CERB, and I'm going to tax you on it, so I'm saving money at the government level.
Mm-hmm. It's trouble. This isn't gonna. There's no good ending here.
All right. Here's my fact part of what's going on.
Okay.
2019. Any idea how many deaths we had of the flu?
See, good thing we analyzed that Spanish.
34,900 in Canada. 34,900.
Oh.
With another 18,000 kind of in a flu variant, a sickness, or pneumonia. We're just over 50,000 people in 2019 that died from that. 2020 in Canada, 22,000 people died of COVID. So we're less than half. And they've reported no one dying of the flu or pneumonia, and I personally know of 3. So they've padded the statistics of COVID to do, I'm not going to call it fear-mongering, but once again, let's get back to the lazy politician who's decided we don't need to go through and measure those statistics. Let's lump it all into COVID. We're still less than half. In Canada, we have now shut down, and we have our 22,000 deaths in 4 states in the U.S., one being Texas, Florida, South Dakota, who never shut down, and Montana, whose restrictions have been light, if any, at all. Their numbers and percentage of illness per 10,000 people, as well as their number of cases daily right now, are half of what ours are. Prove to me this shutdown's going to work, and prove to me we're actually doing something that's positive, or are we just, once again, using our valuable fucking statistics for nothing?
Well, that's a big WTF. When you compare those numbers to states that have not followed the rules, that's a big what the fuck are we doing here? The goalpost keeps getting changed too, because at first the goalpost for and I feel bad that it's the way it's coming across is, yeah, I've been a big promoter of let's do our part. It's not health against business. Let's just do our part to get these economies going. So first it was based off the number of cases that they made their policies on. Then it was off the number of hospitalizations, and now it's on the number of vaccinated. So when they keep changing the goalposts, the goals that we're supposed to achieve, that is, we can't win. We're never going to win. And that's what's confusing me right now for the business owner and for us as citizens trying to support them and help them.
Well, we elected people in because we believed they were going to be great representation and leadership of what we do. Again, I think I said this before, they are not our leaders, they're our public servants. And so we have to remember that piece and not slagging them, because Angela, like you said, they don't know what they're doing through this piece. But the biggest chunk for me in this, my biggest what the fuck, is where are the conversations around that? Because when you keep moving the goalpost and when you keep changing the rules and when you keep flip-flopping, you lose my trust, you lose me following you, and I start to wonder what's really happening. And then it gets really scary and divided in our world, because we have this group of people over here who are going to follow that mandate no matter what. They're just the rule follower people, and they don't know how. Their brains don't function for them to control outside of that. And then we have the rest of us who are starting to go, wait a fucking second here. And then there's this, it's like chaos all the fucking time. And where's the proof? Where's the proof it works?
Well, and that's exactly it. And I don't want to call it fear mongering, but to me, it seems like it, because that's where they're hedging everything. Mm-hmm. I don't understand how we have got to the situation we're in. And I'll add this disclaimer. Is COVID real? Yes, it is. Angela, you are someone that can identify with that more than anyone. Do I think there's risks? 100% I do. If you are someone who is compromised and has a respiratory issue, or you have anything, wear your mask. If you're someone that works in the medical field, or a field where, you get to, you have to wear, maybe it's gloves, maybe it's a mask, whatever, 100% I agree with it. If you're someone that wants to go outside and you feel safer by wearing your mask, go ahead and wear your mask. And I don't think you should feel any shame. That being said, if you're someone that decides not to, you're taking that risk upon yourself.
That's right.
Okay. I don't care where you go, but I don't understand how our government is deciding that there's this section of business that can spread COVID and the other ones can't. And I'm not sure where they decided a piece of plexiglass was going to protect you from an airborne virus.
Well, I know. I can't. Like, we could do a comedian. I hope someone would do a sitcom out there of this, because.
Well, and let's for a moment, let's call into. I feel like some accountability factor needs to also happen to our media. Okay. And I feel like I can say that being someone who was in that industry for a very long time, and they're only reporting, and maybe that's the way that goes. Maybe the rules of media has changed over the last few years, but they're only telling some of the stories. And then the piece that gets me is that every once in a while, this other story will pop through. So we're hearing all of these COVID stories. And then all of a sudden, the next story to get shared everywhere is the fact that they've now found the ingredients in those paper blue masks that are made are similar to asbestos, and we're inhaling this into our bodies. These are the masks that the government provided for us in drive-throughs so that we could protect ourselves, and now they're not safe. Is that the truth? I don't know, but that's the next story. And friends, when you share certain stories onto your social media from different media outlets, you up the amount of hits on those stories, and that tells the media those are the stories that they should do more of.
You just
we are teaching our media what we want to read about, and you're choosing the shit stories. And I get it, because we want to share our frustration, and we want to share that story, and we want to keep that going. And I'm just not going to let Mike talk and keep doing this over and over again, because we want to get the message out, but we're forgetting that we have some control in that too.
Go, Mike.
Now you can go. He was freezing anyway. We wouldn't have heard him.
Is he frozen now?
Well, I've always found Tim Hortons and McDonald's to be the best place to get my first aid supplies.
What a bugger.
And he leaves. Oh,
and he leaves.
Conspiracy theorists, they cut him off. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm going to echo what you're saying, Jody, because if I was the CEO, I had anything to do with the Chamber of Commerce of Alberta, I would have been on the phone and the media first thing this morning on there. Like, we need to be standing up right now. We need to be so noisy, not just for business owners, but
taking you for a walk. Citizens. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're really noisy.
Going.
So I agree on the media. So here's how it works in my mind: is you toe the line who feeds you. Never cut the hand off that feeds you. So if the higher powers, if we're dependent on grant money, if the line of work that I was in was dependent on grant money, I could never speak this way. I can't, because I'm cut off. If I don't toe the line, and if I don't agree, then you think when there's 500 applications, they're gonna say, hey, she's a good fan. she's supportive. No way. So people have to toe the line on media, and that's why the higher powers are in control of this. And the people that are making the money on the restrictions that are being put into place, I think they should be held responsible to giving back some way, to be helping the debt load that we are creating, or social responsibility in some way. So, Mike, go ahead. I know you got lots to say.
Back out in the wind. Well, and I think while we wait for Mike to find some,
like, he knew we were on again. At 9 o'clock,
it's
right?
just
like
I think the other piece that comes into play, and it's frustrating and it's hard, because we're not experts and we don't know, and we don't understand how all of the pieces work. So protecting our healthcare system is another big piece of this, and I don't know what that looks like or how that is. And do I want to protect that system? I really, really do, and I don't want it to go overwhelmed with different things. But so where's that balance? But I think the hard part, Angela, is just we've hit this point where we're all screaming fuck through the streets because we just don't understand what's happening next. And
this is bad. This is bad.
It's so hard.
I hardly slept last night. 'Cause the youth, like I worry my 3 teenagers, but I have been involved with a lot of families who are entrepreneurs. And then I also do that personal coaching that have brought me close to their teenagers, or just to their trying to keep their households. And this is bad. And these restrictions are going to start. We're going into summer here, and it's doesn't make any sense. I agree with Mike. I think we have got to stop with it's almost like we're in a communist country right now. Stop taking our rights away. Let us do what we need to do, but be respectful of others. And if you are afraid of dying, if you're afraid of getting this, then protect yourself and don't go out. but it doesn't mean the rest with the strong immunities or the vaccinations or the like whatever it is can't participate in living.
Mike?
No, and I agree with Angela, but what I'd like to know is when the government, I know, hey, you were worried, I know you were. I disappeared there for a minute. It was probably good for both of you, but when are we going to hit the point that they call herd immunity?
Oh,
okay, and
yes.
and I want to look at something here. Once again, another statistic, because I'm big on numbers. We've had about 400,000 cases of Alberta. And I'm going to go provincial wide now. On top of that 400,000, we could guess that we've probably had at least that many that have had COVID and haven't known it. So we're up to 800,000. Probably closer to 1 million. We vaccinated X amount of people. So at what point do they say we have herd immunity? They open things up and, you know what, let people do their thing. Because if you're going to control the way that people are allowed to operate their businesses, you're going to fall into a bigger recession come this time next year.
The reason
because all of a sudden you're going to have a bunch of people that want to do things and there won't be anything open.
So if I think of scours in the corral calving season, you know, that's kind of sometimes you don't treat, or sometimes you treat the cat. You just know it's going to run, right? You just know it, and that herd immunity. It's calving season, so I'm using that. But Mike, is it because it's different variants that keep coming on that herd immunity won't work?
That's a good question.
I don't agree that that's going to, like, these different variants, yes, they just become stronger, tougher to fight, whatever's wrong. But every person's genetic makeup is going to fight things differently. And I still go back to the case, if you are someone who has an immune deficiency or you're susceptible due to respiratory or whatever else, protect yourself and overprotect yourself. The only way you're going to gain immunity is to have yourself, you know, getting a little bit sick. I mean, how many parents right now can say, you know what, in the last year, how many parents can say their kids have had the common cold? Not many.
No. Yeah. I
agree. Where are we
at?
Have we overprotected, or are we creating a bubble wrap society?
It's a good question, because if you look at stats, I heard from a nurse the other day that the flu was down. So the ICUs and the hospitalization, everything that would go up with I can remember some years being nervous of the flu, like, oh, this is a bad one. We better go get that flu shot. And have we compromised our immune systems by doing this to protect ourselves? Regular strong bodies to protect ourselves. I had COVID. It was hell for 4 days for me. I was the worst in the house. I did have to go into emergency for some breathing concerns, but what happened was my immunity was so down that I got a sinus infection. So that's why the breathing was down, because you just get weak, your whole system. But average healthy people with that COVID, which were the other 3 in the family that had it, they got through it after 4 days. Now, I don't know what the long haul is. I don't know what the consequences are of this. But, you know, for me, I was humbled because I felt really bad of how many people we affected because I didn't take it serious. You've probably seen all the articles on that. So I want us to encourage what we're saying is we got to follow these rules to keep people safe. It's up to them, though, to get back in the driver's seat and do it. And same as the vaccinations. If you're on the fence with it, go do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Because I'm confused on the vaccination side as well, because if it's different variants, how do we know that the vaccination is working for variants number 7 when we got a vaccination 3 months ago? I'm confused on that. So, and do we keep our businesses locked down?
Jody had Dr. Weiss on, who's from your guys' area and community, and he spoke highly of the vaccination. And I have no reason to believe that the vaccination doesn't work, but he also did disclaim that they've had 1 case of the flu this year in Alberta. 1.
Yep.
So how does in 2019 35,000 people die from it, and in 2020 we have one case? It doesn't disappear.
Yeah, I know.
So the numbers that they're producing, I believe, are flawed, and for the simple reason that they're not trying to measure for the flu, they're not trying to measure for pneumonia, and they're lumping it all into one equation. And that's where I think some of our friends to the south that have opened up their states, that have things wide open and are seeing much smaller numbers than we are, even though when it happened, they had greater deaths. But I mean, when you take the size of some of the states, California and Texas almost have as many people as Canada. So we really need to compare apples to apples. And I think us having colder weather up here through the winter may have helped us. People staying inside, definitely. But you know what? Them shutting down small businesses has done absolutely nothing to prevent COVID. Because for me, I would rather walk into Mr. Mike's and have a bite to eat with 8 other people. I would rather go into one of the local stores, you know, in southern Alberta, a hardware store that has 3 or 4 people, than walk into your Canadian Tire big box store in Calgary, Red Deer, or Edmonton, where there's 150 people. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I'm going to jump in on that because I want to give a tip. You know, like this is a platform for us to get, everybody got really pissed off yesterday. And business owners got scared last night, and the mental, like the stress on the body, stress kills. I have had it happen in my own family. I know stress is just as bad as getting diagnosed with cancer, etc. It kills. So the stress started again yesterday for these business owners. So I want to provide a solution for you to consider, because one of the things is we have to work with policy and regulation, because they're not going anywhere. They're not going away. Our lobby groups, you get on your chambers of commerce, get on your Canadian federal business, I think it's called CFIB there.
CFIB, yeah.
Yeah, get on those and get noisy business owners. But here's an immediate tool that you can do in your own backyard is, it's not fair that as the government puts the policies in that they claim essential businesses are open and it goes to the box stores because of density. And so that policy is in place. We can't stop it. Let's lobby those box stores. Go to them, your ecosystems in your community. Anybody that claims to serve the business community, maybe ask your local government to support it in some way. Go to them, bring all those people together at a table on Zoom and say, share the money, help us out. We are a small business owner. I'm going to use Mr. Mike's as an example in High River. They're about to get shut down. Their patio's only open. Imagine if all of first of all, that they got supplies and goods from the local essentials done at a discounted rate so that their prices can help them with profit margin. If they did shared staff for them for delivery services, here you can use our driver so you don't have to pay somebody or something. But imagine if those big box stores said, we're going to market your business for you, because we're going to do ways to help you, or we'll pay for your marketing, your radio ads, or whatever it is, to say curbside at Mr. Mike's, or these are their specials this month. Communities help communities together. Jody, this is your backyard. This is your language. And we're not seeing it. It's being pitted right now where the big guys are making the money and the little guys are dying. And you cannot have a healthy economy if these little guys are dead. And so these guys up here, the big ones making the money, let's hold them accountable. So that's my homework I want to give. And I've seen this happen. It's happening in other countries. Canada is behind the scenes. I will offer for free to come and speak to your group of your ecosystem of how to make this work, because I'm so passionate about it. But we've got to support these small guys right now, Jordan.
100%.
So, and I have to declare. I got to do my declaring.
Yeah, it's an official declaration today.
This is an official declaration to go get fat, get drunk, and squeeze in some work out there. So I don't care. We got to support those gyms somehow.
Unbelievable.
So we got to go. I'm going to eat out. I'm going to eat like every 3 hours from now till Friday at noon. I'm going to like bar hop, and I'm going to have drinks everywhere. I've already warned like my bank account. I want my overdraft over so I can tip everybody. And the more drinks I have, the better the tips. So if you see me walk into your place,
okay,
that's what I declare.
We're gonna need to circle back maybe tomorrow afternoon.
Here's a question for you, Angela. Here's a question for you, Angela.
Yeah.
If we took every small business owner in Alberta and they were put together a class action lawsuit to fight the government, and they asked for proof that the government shutting them down was helping prevent COVID, how do you think that would stand up?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know the answer of how that would stand up. But what I do know is procedure and process. They can start it. The Chamber of Commerce, they usually represent about 30-40% of your business community on their membership base. So let's say you brought all that together, some new organization started, or the timeline of it tied up in the courts would be strategy for one. But it would take so long that business owners would say return on time, return on energy, and return on time for me. So I'm going to commit to this new organization to lobby the government to stay open. The only way I would see that work is you stay open while you're doing it. If they
well, that's where I'm headed with it. That's where I'm headed, because there's no way that I think the government can police shutting people down.
But they look at that church. So
there's no way they can do it. And I'm going to lead.
They fenced that church this morning, so they can. So we can encourage these business owners to revolt and stay open and do everything. But the government does have the legislation right now, and they just fenced off that church. And so that's going to be a lot of work for all these. I've worked for municipal government, and there's only so many bylaw officers. There's only so many RCMP, and
and that's exactly it. But I see that coming. I honestly do. You are going to see a revolt. There's enough people, because I don't think our governments have done enough. They don't see enough. At the end of the day, my personal opinion is Jason Kenney couldn't find his ass with both hands sitting on the toilet seat. But that's just the way it is. At the end of the day, we have not done enough.
Yeah, and you can see hear the frustration, and we don't want to encourage adult bullying, Mike, but
we don't need to be mean. We can think that, but we don't agree with him. Yeah.
It's an example of the frustration and the desperation, what Mike is saying, because when you talk to the people that he's talked to, he's had enough. That's what's going to happen. And the stress on people, suicide comes from exhaustion, tired, no hope, disconnection, attention, like I'm crying out for help. Crimes come from they're going to start using a government as a scapegoat. They're going to start, whoever's in charge of making the decisions. We are going to switch now to people are going to become angry with what Mike just did. We're pissed off, and we're ready to fight, and we're ready. And fight is desperation, because I have to feed my kids tomorrow, and I don't have enough money. I don't know how I'm going to do it.
I agree 100%. And kind of the last thing I was going to touch on, and you're both very wise to this, is outdoor activities. And when I say that, it could be kids soccer, it could be kids baseball, rodeo, a strong foundation of what I do. How can you allow 150 people in a Walmart store, but no one to sit outside at a rodeo?
Makes no fucking sense to me. Or it makes no sense to me at all. No.
Like this doesn't, the restrictions they've put in place serve themselves.
And the mental health that's going to come from those kids not being able, or adults or anything, to get that regular vitamin D, to keep the body moving, is they are going to be backlogging those mental health psychological units at what is it called? The mental health departments at the hospital. That's the word. They're going to be bombarded because of the restrictions. So I think the government has to balance that out. Balance, to Mike's point,
which takes some work. And I'm going to stop you there, only because we've gone way over, but the discussion has been good, and I think that it's important for us to have a place to vocalize this. I invite the two of my beautiful guests to go back and read through the comments. We've had a lot of people conversing with us through this process, and for the sake of time, I won't read out all of your comments, but thank you for people who are expressing themselves. Friends, it's really healthy to express yourself, but I will leave you on the note of remember a few other F words besides that we're fucking tired of fucking COVID. The other F words we have to remember are flight, fight, and freeze. And those are the three responses to when we're affected by trauma. And so because you might be in the fight mode, remember that there's two other F words that other people in our communities are also saying in. So if you're finding people who are just afraid, or people who are doing nothing, or people who are so unsure, please remember to still be kind, because everybody is freaked the fuck out about it and doesn't know which piece to do next.
I want to thank you for doing that, because we got to give solutions here. And I want to shout out to two organizations that Headstrong. Please go on Facebook and follow Headstrong. This is all free. This is a great program that I am very proud of, because I have seen a gap of this. If you are a business owner and you don't have benefits and you are completely stressed out and you're experiencing what Jody just talked about, please reach out to this organization. Baby It's Cold Outside is another regional organization that is available to help people in need. So that's groceries, gas, money, housing, whatever it is. So, and I know there's many more. Those are just the top of my mind, but yeah, this is serious times.
Thank you, Angela. Mike, final word?
Organization that
he's listening to himself. Are you saying anything, or?
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. And you know what? At the end of the day, just protect yourself.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for coming to What the Fuck Wednesday to express yourself. Scream fuck out loud if you want to. It helps clear that throat chakra. So scream it loud. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to be afraid. You're allowed to be whatever you want to be. And just remember, just because you ask questions and just because you want to know more doesn't make you an anti-whatever, and it doesn't make you a denier. It makes you someone who wants to educate yourself, and we applaud that. Have a great day. Thank you, Angela and Mike, for having an amazing conversation with us today.
No problem.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
Bye, everybody. We'll